All right, very good afternoon. My name is Elijah Kelvin Morongi. Welcome to this episode of The Platform, where expression is guaranteed. So today is a Sunday. It is the 19th of March, that is 2023, and we are very, very delighted and very happy to be here to discuss patent issues. Of course, this time around to discuss issues to do with the women. So earlier this month, that is on the 8th of March 2023, we celebrated the International Women's Day. And I want to tell you that it was celebrated in all countries, the fact that it is an International Women's Day. And it was under the theme Women and the Girls in Technology, or equality in that line. And also, we also had our celebrations in Masindi. That was on Friday. When they commemorated that very day. That is in Boma grounds, opposite the municipality or the municipality officers. So today we are also going to be discussing about the same cause. But just before I introduce the topic to you, I am very, very honored to have panelists, a panelist, of course, and then a platformer today on this particular episode of the platform. Just right next to me, she is Patricia Auma, who is okay, who is part of the founders, that is of Imarisha Dada, that is in Masindi, of course, an organization that deals with the girls, right? Yes, and right next to him is the Honorable Atenyi Kanaginagi, who is the NRM, or the National Resistance Movement Vice Chairperson for Masindi District. So let me start with Patricia. You can be able to introduce yourself to the people that are watching you live on Elcam TV.
Thank you, Elijah, and a very good evening to our viewers. I'm glad again to be on Elcam Television. I think I was here 2 weeks ago on the International Women's Day. As you've mentioned very well, my name is Auma Maureen Patricia, and I saw you struggling with introducing what I do. I'm a co-founder.
Okay, it wasn't struggling. I was finding the right, because the fact that someone does quite a lot of things, so you fail to introduce them in what category. But since we are talking about girls and women, Imarisha Dada can do for us.
That's what I was about to say, that I find myself in so many portfolios, so sometimes it's hard to say, okay, this is what I do. But I'm a development enthusiast, and I like anything that leads to development, positive development, of course. And I'm glad to be here. I don't know how Atenyi did it. He has that. I had introducing him as a platformer, so I don't know what it takes to be a platformer. Maybe we'll talk about that, so I can also become a platformer.
A platformer is someone that appears here several times, and of course, someone who we intend to be with for the rest of the time, to be able to discuss certain issues here on Elcam TV. Yes, and on the platform. Maybe we can have a brief on Imarisha Dada for the viewers that are watching us now.
I'm a co-founder of Imarisha Dada Uganda. Imarisha Dada means transform a sister. It's a Swahili word. It's an organization that is formed by young women like me. Some are actually younger than me. We are in Masindi, and what we do is looking at the growth of a young girl into a responsible woman who is able to succeed to her full potential. That is what our objective is as Imarisha Dada. So we work with young women in and out of school, but we don't work only with the young women, of course, with the older women also, for advice and guidance.
Yes. Thank you so much, Patricia, and it is good to have you today on this particular episode. Let me cross to the platform, of course. Maybe you can get to speak for himself.
Good evening once again, viewers. As you've been told, I'm called Kanaginagi Atenyi, the district vice chairman, NRM, on the platform. I've been lost for some time because, as you know, in the other spheres of the world, I'm a farmer, And now the first season is on, so I'm very busy.
Very
But
busy.
thank God that I've found the time to come and be with you and share a
Yeah.
few ideas with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, the Honorable Kanagina Giateng. And now, our viewers that are watching us live on Elcam TV, this is the platform, of course, where expression is guaranteed. And now, this show is proudly sponsored by Victory Beach Hotel. You can reach out to them for accommodation, conference facilities, bar and restaurant services, the sauna, the grounds for the events. For those that have events and you'd like to organize your event within Masindi, you can reach out to Victory Beach Hotel. The numbers, you can have an event for even less than 10,000 people or more. Yeah, those are the grounds that are really available here. And then you can reach out to them still for bar and restaurant services, and also the conference for those that have the workshops, the meetings and stuff. You can be able to reach out to Victory Beach Hotel. They're located along Ntuha Road, that is in Masindi town or Masindi municipality. So today we're going to be discussing about breaking the digital divide, breaking the digital divide and strategies for empowering women and girls in technology. Yes, it was on the 8th, of course, the International Women's Day. That is something that we're looking at. But of course, since it is the month of women, yeah, women took this whole month for themselves. We are still looking at things to do with women, but also most importantly, things to do with women empowerment in technology. So I'm going to start with you, Patricia. Yes. Maybe for the viewers that would like to understand about the digital divide and also strategies for empowering women in technology, I would like you to define women's empowerment and equality, and what are those differences? What is the difference? Women empowerment and equality.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think before we go into your question, our topic is pivoted on the digital divide.
Yeah.
When you informed me about this program, I was looking at the topic and I was thinking to myself, is the divide, is there really a digital divide between the men and the women, or the male and the female? And I was just trying to wrap my head around it. And I realized that maybe at the stage where we are as a country, or
Okay.
even as a continent, I do not know if we are in a very, if it would be so fair to say there is already a digital divide.
Okay.
Because if you see the this century, I think is in the last 10 years is when we really got serious as a continent and also a country to look at the matter concerning technological development as an urgent thing. So I don't know, but I think the way we've embraced it, there could be a divide, yes,
Okay.
but it could even be worse if certain things are not done, if we
Okay.
do not take certain matters into consideration.
So that actually
which
means
is-
you accept, you
yeah, I
affirm that
accept,
there is
and it
the
is even
digital divide.
looming worse. It is worse. There's a worse
Eh,
divide looming.
Yeah, I've heard people on social media, they say the situation is getting worse.
It is getting worse. So
Okay.
it might just get worse for us, but I think at this point is something that we can actually salvage by having conversations like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
moving to the question,
Yeah.
women empowerment vis-a-vis equality.
Yeah.
A women's empowerment is supporting women to perform
Yeah.
to their full potential. No empowerment, we don't empower someone that doesn't have the power already. It is
Okay.
just supporting
It is
the power that
supporting.
is already there.
Yeah.
Yes. So for women empowerment to take place, the women already have to be somewhere. There's something they are doing. They have this potential. They have this ability.
Okay.
So we are simply powering it on.
Yeah.
We are simply
Powering.
creating a way
Okay,
for
from
that.
the word power.
Exactly. So that is empowerment, just supporting the initiatives, supporting the abilities, and supporting the potentials of women to prosper more than they would have if they had not been empowered.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then equality is simply leveling the playing ground.
Mm-hmm.
Leveling the playing ground for the women to compete, to operate, to perform, to participate,
coexist.
to coexist at the same level as the men, giving the same opportunities, making sure that everyone is having the equal opportunity for them to be able to prosper,
Yeah.
whether they are women or
Whether-
men.
yeah.
That is the equality.
Okay. Now, when that takes me to equity itself.
So equity is quite different. It goes deeper. Now
Yeah.
with equity, it goes beyond men or women. It goes beyond the playing ground. It goes
Okay.
beyond equal opportunity. It goes beyond same support. It goes beyond that. With equity, okay, these are women, but in amidst this, there are those that are uneducated.
Yeah.
There are those that are educated. So how are you going to support this one that is educated? And how are you going to support the one that is not educated?
Educated,
It
yeah.
is not going to be the same. Among these women, there are those that are living with HIV.
Okay.
You're not going to give them the same attention and not the
Like-
same support, definitely. You'll go beyond. Among those, there are those that are the rural women and there are the urban women. They're not at the same level. So you'll not give them the same amount of support. You'll not give them the same amount of attention. So that is where equity comes in, looking at the situation beyond just the gender.
Yeah.
Yes. We have women, but there are those other groups,
Of
specific groups of women that require specific attention and specific kind of support for them to be able to equally compete with the others.
Okay.
Exactly.
So now the concept comes from empowerment to equality and then to equity itself.
Exactly. You put it so right.
All right. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Patricia. So our viewers that are watching us live on LKM Television and those that are just joining us, this is the platform where expression is guaranteed. Now, usually we put this disclaimer that the ideas that you are hearing on this session or on this channel, they are not ideas of LKM Television. They are ideas of our guests. Yes, the platformer and then the guest that we have
And I
today
own up to
on
it.
this particular
100%.
yeah.
I can
on
be
this
accountable.
particular episode. So we are saying you can be able to put in your comments. You can be able to check us out on our Facebook, that is LKM Television, and then those that are on Facebook, you can be able to stream live on our YouTube, that is still LKM Television. So now let me cross to the Honorable Atenyi Kanaginagi. Yes, now the government, we understand that you are the NRM Vice Chairperson for Masindi District.
Sure.
Yes, let us start from Masindi District in particular. What are some of the things that you've put in place as a district, to see or to ensure that there is empowerment? Generally, let's forget about technology for now, but let's talk about the empowerment in general.
Masin District Law Government
Okay.
is operating under decentralization. And under decentralization, these lower local governments are almost a replica of the central government. So sometime in, I think in the 70s or 80s, Uganda being a member of the United Nations and other international bodies signed certain conventions whereby it was a requirement that there must be a deliberate move to empower women, because women, especially in Africa, were vulnerable. So they needed that special attention in order to be empowered to come up to almost the same level like men. So it was a requirement which our government signed the convention that at least a third of every public committee must be composed of women. And this has been in practice and especially promoted by the NRM government. When the NRM government came into power, it promoted and supported this idea of empowering women.
Okay.
For example, in education, when joining the universities, by that time we had only one university, Makerere, but now we have, I think, close to 50, both public and private. They are given leverage of 1.5 points For example, Elijah, if you have 16 points, and Patricia here has got 14.5, she will be given 1.5, and you will be equal.
Yeah.
And that, of course, promotes their education, and through education, they can be empowered even to do those innovations which we are talking about, the technological innovations. Then the government has also created that on I've already said about the 1/3. Then it is also an equal opportunity employer, and at times when the public adverts are being put out, it is put there that ladies are encouraged to do what? To apply. This means that even when they are sitting for interviews, they are given a special opportunity. And really, for me, personal level, I thank the women. They have done us proud. Because you will find that in most sensitive positions, women now are occupying them. Go to the banks, you will find that most of the workers there are women, because these women are motherly. They are, it takes them, they think and think before they can act on something, especially which is like corruption. Women are less corrupt than men. That's why they are put in
or maybe they're in the position where they are fearing to do certain
in fact,
things.
in the local language, if you find a corrupt woman, we call her karampeg. That word is karampeg. That she's not behaving like other women. You go to the petrol stations. Most of those that are serving at the petrol stations are ladies, because the owners of those petrol stations know that the lady will think twice or thrice before she can do what?
Something.
She can.
And also when they are got, they actually speak out easily. They will tell the truth easily. Unlike in the OPM, where we have a lot of women who cannot speak out on certain things. Yeah.
Then also, the government has also created the women councils right from the village up to parliament, to the national level.
Okay.
Through these councils, these ladies can come up with their own innovations, their own demands, the needs, which they present to government for attention.
All right. Honorable Konaginagi.
Yes.
Now let us switch to the point of how the government is actually empowering the women and the young girls in technology. What is the approach that you are using to see that you break the digital divide?
As I've already said, especially at that high level of tertiary institutions, they are encouraged to go and do those science courses. In the past, they used it to fear them.
Okay.
But now you find more, especially in the IT section, women are there, very many. And even we have women pilots.
Are the women doing this thing? Are they doing it on their will, or it is something that you have created a platform for them to be able to do?
Of course, after putting the affirmative action and empowering them, now they have been convinced that they can, what women can do. And most times they are now doing it even better. As I've already expressed, they are not corrupt. They concentrate, because it's unfortunate. I think 2 years ago, one of our lady pilots died in the army. So a lady flying such a big aeroplane, it was unheard of in the past. But because of that empowerment, now they can take on anything. In the army, they are there. In the police, they are there.
It was an achievement for Uganda.
Yes.
Okay.
Although Rwanda has gone, I think, a step ahead of us.
Yeah.
Because for them, I think in their parliament, the women are more than 50%. And even at cabinet level, there are more women than men.
Mm.
And you find what they are doing is really recommendable.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Kanagna. Let me get to Patricia a little bit. Is Honorable Kanaginagi did mention that they have put up, as government, they have put up structures and ways to see that the girls really embrace technology and the institution and introducing the science courses and the likes. Is this empowerment in technology for the girls an equity issue, or it is something to do with, what do you think?
I think it is a little bit of both,
Mm.
but it's more of empowerment.
Mm.
It's more of empowerment because now it's a deliberate move
Mm.
for women,
Okay.
for women that are in schools.
Mm.
You're not going to do this. This affirmative action is not going to work for every girl.
Mm.
It will only work for that girl who has pushed herself and reached a certain level in school.
Yeah.
So that becomes empowerment.
Mm.
But the equity,
Mm.
the equity comes in also because if you look at how the what the honorable was saying, that the encouragement,
Mm.
I do not think that the encouragement also goes for the boys or for the young men. I
Mm.
think it is more for the girls because it is now beyond just putting the institutions there and saying, okay, let the girls and boys all get involved and let them all, get the opportunities and go and study these ICT courses.
Mm.
But again, the encouragement is there. Although it is not yet enough, I don't believe that the encouragement is really enough. I think more still needs to be done, and the encouragement, I think, needs to be started
Yeah.
from I think the lowest level. Like not just encouragement but inspiration.
Yeah.
I think
Inspirations for
what
them
we
to
need,
see
exactly,
something.
what we need is that inspiration for these young women, as low as the primary level young women, the pilots that the honorable is talking
Talking about.
about. These are the
They are
people that,
quite way too old for them to, you
not
know.
it really wouldn't matter if they're too old, but these are people that can give inspiration.
Okay.
That is what I think we need for this young girl in primary two, to be able to put it in her head that, you know what, I can actually fly a plane one
Yeah.
day. You see, she's doing it, and she was a little girl like me at one point.
Yeah.
So I think that it is an empowerment and an equity issue also, but we need to concentrate more on treating it as an equity issue because now the world is going really digital. And there's no we are going to say, okay, let's just do a little bit of it. Let's just do what we can. No.
Yeah.
It is either we go in fully or we don't go in at
don't
all.
engage, yeah.
So if we are really going to go in and move at the same pace with the rest of the world, digitalizing everything and moving with the technological development, then I think we need to put in the effort 150%.
Yeah, at that point, Patricia, what are those barriers as women? What are those barriers that you're really facing as women for you to be able to embrace this technology?
I think the barriers, the first barrier, I do not want to really say there's much, but it is just ourselves. It is mostly ourselves. There is the
Maybe,
mindset.
okay, the mindset.
There is
I was
that
about to say
mindset.
maybe you see for yourself, you can be able to do more of technology. You can use the computers, the internet to do research, to
Yes.
apply for things, to conduct a lot of things online. Yeah, but we're talking about this person that hasn't really embraced the technology.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Okay, not what you think, because you being a woman, we feel you're in that position that you can be able to know what those barriers could be.
There are several barriers, Elijah. The first one I've said is the mindset. For even people that are at levels where they can embrace this technology and all those opportunities that can help them better themselves, there's that mindset which is created. I do not know what creates it, but if I look at Elton Television, for example, I do not know how many female staff you have that are behind the cameras.
Yeah.
That way. I do not know. That question is for you. You know it in your heart. But someone might think, oh, maybe it is only the men that are supposed to be the other side doing all the things, the graphic designing and all that. I do not know so many female graphic designers, you know. Most of them are male. So it makes women or the girls think that, oh, maybe
that is
maybe I
meant for the
shouldn't do
men.
this.
Yeah, it is
Maybe
for
it is
men.
meant for the men. Maybe I'm just supposed to look nice and be the side of the camera.
Are
you
we on
know.
the issue of mindset change,
Yes,
or okay?
mindset.
Yeah,
It is the
mindset.
mindset, because a woman can do any of those things the other side of the camera. They can create the content. They can do all those graphic things that we see the boys doing, the designing and all that.
Okay.
They can do it, the videography and all that. Most of that is occupied by the young men. But the young women out there, they just think they can't do it. They think they can't be a photographer, you know. I don't know. I've not seen any female photographer at all, you know. So I think it's just an issue of mindset. Then there's also accessibility. There's accessibility, Elijah. Let's accept this. Accessibility. You know, we're saying smartphones are everywhere and all that. No, that's not true.
And the fact that now the world is a 5G, so
Yeah, we are almost going to 6G and whatever. But there is still an issue of accessibility. There is that girl that has that dream somewhere in some village there, and there's no accessibility. You find that maybe in the whole family, there is no one with a smartphone. They could be having a touch screen, but it is not a smartphone, you know? So there's still that issue of accessibility. So how are we going to counter this? I'm going to give a stick and a carrot on this point. The issue is accessibility. How can we deal with it? I'm going to give my opinion. I think the issue of accessibility, we can start by equipping these schools with, let's start with computers. Let them start from that level, just learning computer. Fine, it is being done in so many other schools, private schools, and a few government schools, which I don't think I can mention any, but I think there are government schools that have computers. So if we can go that way, if we can take that route, I think a child is going to finish primary 7 when they know a computer.
Okay.
Some have never even seen a monitor. Where are they going to start from? They're going to go to senior 1, and then they'll find in their school there's a computer library.
Yeah, and then they can't use it.
But they can't use it. It is the first time they're seeing it. So if you can start this and stop saying it is primary, they'll get it somewhere.
I remember in my A level, honestly, I even wonder, by the way. You see, you'll find that most of the girls, the computers are there, but they will tell you they cannot be able to use them. And then you ask yourself, how about in O level? Where have they been?
So we can address that by starting from the lower level. Let's take this computer to their primary schools. They'll create the time. At least let them interact with it. They know there's something called a computer, there's something called a mouse and keyboard. So that by the time they can actually press it and do all the things, they know something. They've interacted with it before. You know, that is the only way we are going to extend the accessibility to the rural schools. And the government is doing something with the rural electrification and all that. So our schools are starting to have, you know, electricity. It won't be an issue anymore.
I've moved to, you see, this is something that you're talking about, more especially on issues to do with mindset change. I've moved to certain villages in Hoima where they've done electrification, even to the nearest. I mean, you're staying here and the road is just like there, and there is a pole of electricity somewhere there. But most of these people cannot use that electricity. They cannot even put the electricity in their own houses
because they think they don't need it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here in the village. What am I going to use it for?
No,
so let's make
besides,
that need to be there.
Yeah.
Then they'll know that, okay, we have this school which has computers. We need electricity. My child is studying in that school. They have a computer in it. When she comes back home, she will have to charge this smartphone of mine and she'll be able to do something on it.
Yeah.
You understand? So let's create an environment where people are going to embrace these things. Yeah. You understand? There's a point that I wanted to put across that just skipped my mind, but accessibility is one of the biggest issues that we're having. Me, myself, Elijah, I didn't sit in a class and studied computer. I didn't. I had to train myself because there was need. I reached a point that I had to do things, but so no one is there to teach me computer. I went to a school in A level. That's where we had the computers at St. Teresa. That's where there was a computer library. But I was too busy. I was in A level. I didn't have time to go for the computer classes. But now I'm going to university. after 2 years, and I'll do my coursework using computer. I was scared. So I had to find ways of making sure over the
Okay.
weekends I go there, because the teacher is not going to be there over the weekend for you.
Yeah.
So somehow I had to learn at least how to type
Yeah.
by myself, just to get myself ready, because I knew no one is going to teach me. No one is even bothered that I'm going to go to university without knowing computer. And the issue all comes back to accessibility. So if we can work on the issue of accessibility, people are going to gradually know that we need this. But if it is not accessible, everyone is going to remain in their corner and think, oh, maybe it is in the clouds there. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll reach university and we'll be able to learn computer. No. Let's work on accessibility, and I think we'll deal with the other issues.
All right. Thank you so much, Patricia. Let me cross to the Honorable Kanaginegi. Patricia did address issues, actually issues, the barriers, the barriers that are there for the women to be able to, that are stopping women from accessing or even embracing technology. And some of them have been accessibility, the mindset change, and the likes. The president or the government, I don't know if it came from the cabinet itself, the party, which is NRM, and we are thinking that is the government of Uganda. It did put it, yes, it did put it that we are in a first class economy. Yeah, in a first class economy. Now, Patricia, while she's mentioning that we still have people that cannot even turn on. In English, it is called booting. Yeah, booting a computer. Yeah, how does it put us in a space where we are in a first class economy?
that that being in the, what do they call it, in the, anyway, as you have put it, we are not yet there. Even when the president mentioned it, many people laughed it off. Because when you follow now the present program that is on, the parish development model, it is trying to address certain percent those who cannot get $1 per day.
Yeah.
So if certain percent of the population cannot get $1 per day,
not just getting the dollar per day, but even you see the example that I was giving here. You're doing rural electrification, but now it's actually 1 year in these villages that you claim were electrified, but no one actually accesses the electricity. It is just passing all over.
Not even electricity. There are some rural growth centers where they have put these water schemes. But you find people still collecting water
from
the wells or this what the boreholes. The case in point is here till here. That's my mindset. Some people see that maybe the water is not good.
You see, Bokanaginagi, I would say it is just like how you tell the people that now, you can be able to use the internet, right? But then you tax the internet. It is just like now there would be a question of how are you actually empowering the people? How are the people are supposed to access the internet when the tax rates actually high on internet? So now back to the water. How is someone supposed to have water in their compound when they cannot pay for it? I mean, what is government doing about these differences?
Government has come up with many programs that are supposed to get people out of poverty. But unfortunately, as learning is gradual, there are some slow learners, and adoption is also, it takes a long time. Most of the people are wait and see, and even when they see, they don't adopt. They think that can only be done by rich people. That creates that situation.
And who is responsible for people embracing certain
Of
things?
course, it is government.
Yeah.
It's like religion. Every week,
exactly.
we go to church.
Exactly. Now that takes us back to the question of what are you doing as government to see that you curb such barriers?
We are continuously trying to address what my daughter here has been talking about, mindset change.
Yeah.
Through workshops, through trainings, even using the what, some NGOs to help us to constantly remind people that we have to change. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. I will give an example which is really practical. You see, these Indians, they have had their businesses sustained because they have involved the families and even the ladies, which we Africans have not been doing in the past. Like this is history of Mirambo, the Pete Nyamwezi ruler. When he died, his empire also did what? Collapsed with him. But as I've said, there is light at the end of the tunnel. We had the rich man here called Murwana. Unfortunately, he died.
Yeah.
But I'm told that he had a daughter who now took over as somebody to manage the estate. She has taken Murwana's estate to a higher level. The boys are there, but it is that girl who has sustained Murwana's estate and even taken it to what? To a higher level. And as you know, Murwana was dealing in many things, including manufacturing of batteries, plastics, and so on. But it is that daughter of his that has taken that estate, which means for those who can adopt and are empowered, they can do wonders.
Okay.
Yes.
So now that takes me to the question of what are these tools, that you've put in place as government to track the adoption and how people are really embracing the technology, or it is something that you put there and then anyone that is able to use, let them use. Those who are not able, let them not be in position to use it. I mean, is there something practical that you're going to show and be like, okay, now the women in Uganda, this is this percentage, they have been able to use technology or embrace it?
At that level, you must it. We have registered the limited success, I can say. I've always referred to Rwanda whenever I come with this platform, because I visited Rwanda twice and I admired those people. Most of those people, the Kagames, I told you I studied with Kagame.
Yeah.
They were here as refugees. But they told us the best laws are made in Uganda, but are practiced, implemented in where?
In
Rwanda.
Actually, they took what we sent away from Uganda. Like, yeah.
Now, when we were on that visit, we were always told before we went there that they are moving to computer whatever in their schools. We said, how can this happen? So we went to one of the schools. It is called Rwamagana. It is supported by the Catholic Church. It had an enrollment of close to 3,000 pupils. But every child there had a computer. They were no longer writing on the what? On the blackboard, but they were teaching through the computer. Then we asked why. How what has it be successful? First of all, they said their environment has somehow forced them to go that way, because 70% of Rwanda's land is not arable. Here we have a lot of land which is arable, which we don't even use economically, wastefully. But there, 70% of the land is not arable. So they cannot hinge themselves to agriculture. They have to find an alternative for the population. They told us if all Rwandese are computer literate, then they can be employed world over. That's why they went digital as low as that primary level. So by the time the child comes to secondary, even university, they are computer wizards. In Uganda here, we have not yet taken that deliberate move. Even where you find computers, because there, as I've said, in every class, there were computers. Here we are talking of only libraries, where a student, when he or she gets time, can go there at his or her own will. But there, every lesson it is on what? On computer. I think government now has got to
They
think.
actually Rwanda actually introduced each child per computer, something like that.
Funny what they thought by the time we went there that within the next 3 years from that time, they would be completely writing on the what? On the chalkboard. Everything would be done on what?
I
On
can see
computer.
Patricia here wowing Rwanda.
Yes.
And as it gets to the question of when are we going to be wowed?
Well,
You see,
we shall not lose hope.
Yeah.
But
Well,
and now certain conditions are now also getting us to that to that direction.
All right, Honorable Kanaginagi, I'm
Yes.
going to be able to get to these comments, but maybe before we get to them, the question is it the government that is misplacing its priorities? Because if we say that we are in an era, a digital era, and then you find a country like Uganda that it is actually only 20% of the women that are embracing technology, where does it leave us as a country? You can be able to answer that maybe after this. Namobiru Jackie is watching us live. She's saying, thank you, Patricia. There is definitely a technology divide between men and women. This ranges from access to awareness to savviness. Yeah, I think you'll be able to tell us what savviness is. Yeah, maybe after reading all these comments. And also, Jackie can be able to elucidate more about that. Yes, and she's also saying, I agree with Patricia. Empowerment goes beyond giving opportunity to women. That is just the first step. Empowerment, right? The first step. Amplifying women's experiences and responding to their specific needs is what is key. Now, let us get back to your question. Is government priorities misplaced, or this is something that is not very, very important at the moment?
At times, I would think that at times when we live amidst the plenty, we are not pushed to address certain needs. But as I was saying, where we are heading now, first of all, Uganda has the third fastest growing population in the whole world, of between 3.3 to 3.5% increase per annum. By 2050, we are lingering around, we are nosing towards 50 million. But by 2050, which is about 25 years from now, we shall have gone to 130 million. The land area will not have increased, but the population will have short.
Yeah.
Me, when I was born, we were less than 10 million in Uganda.
And the allegations that is why the Western culture is actually encouraging Africa to be able to embrace homosexuality.
No.
But for us to be able to curb the numbers or the growth.
There is what family planning, but homosexuality, I don't think it is.
Okay, in the strategies, I have heard actually very many people on media and mainstream media, social media, where they mention that is a strategy to curb an increase in how do they call it, population growth?
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. It is the remedy is homosexuality.
We would rather encourage other methods of
No, I'm not saying
family planning.
Is it an option, or but they are saying it is what they are introducing.
At times, those Europeans have other sinister motives for Africa. You know, being so many in their own countries, they will think by eliminating us, they will come and again in another form of recolonization and they take over what? Because there are many stories around the Chinese,
Maybe
what they are doing
possible.
and so on, but that is a topic for another day. But homosexuality for us in our own culture, no. Because if the animals cannot do that, the beasts, how about we human beings?
Who understand?
Yeah, exactly. And you call it
to make.
a human right? No, that is not true.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, the Honorable Kanaginagi. Our viewers that are watching us live on Elchem TV, thank you so much for keeping it live on Elchem TV. This is the platform of course, where expression is guaranteed. So this show is proudly sponsored by Victory Bija Hotel. You can reach out to them for accommodation, conference facilities, bar and restaurant services, sauna. Patricia, you need sauna.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sauna, and also the ground for events. If you have an event, you can be able to bring it to Victory Bija Hotel. They're located along Ntuha Road, that is in Masindi, as you head to the presidential lodge. Yeah, they call it lodge, something like that. Yeah, that is in Masindi town, Masindi municipality. Let me get back to to Patricia. If government is supposed to do certain things in seeing that women embrace technology, what are those things?
First, I think government is supposed to treat this issue of the technological development and digitalization, treat it with urgency. The Honorable is here, but we are going to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
It can't be a big spoon today. I think our government has a tendency of being comfortable, and then when things get worse, that is when we start running around and instead of planning early and embracing things as they come, we tend to relax, and then we wait when everything has taken off, everyone has taken off, the situation has escalated, and then we start coming up with everything. I think we need to
cannot be able to embrace it on pressure.
Will not be able to take it up with all that pressure. Government needs to take the issue of digitalization as an urgent thing, because it is not about Uganda. It's not even about Africa. It is the world. That is where we are going. So we shouldn't just handle it as, okay, this thing has come, or maybe as I said before, let's just do what we can. No, let us treat it with the urgency it deserves.
How the world's population is actually the women are more, and then it is less of the women that are embracing technology.
Actually, not only technology, in development process across the board, you find that there are fewer women in all these development processes across the board, from the decision making processes, from everything. There are few. And that is why always there has to be some effort of women empowerment, trying to support them, to take up these opportunities, to prepare them, and all that. So
Patricia,
the government needs to take up a deliberate effort.
I want to pose a question that I would pose to any other person that deals with empowering the women or the girl child. This is something that has become more of a song: women empowerment, women this, women the other. What are those practical things that we are seeing out there that women are really engaging in? Let's forget about the politics, because you'll tell me that a third, maybe definitely a certain percentage in government, in a top position, they are women. You'll tell me the speaker, you tell me the OP, the prime minister, and the stuff. We practical things, economic programs, or things that things to do with finance,
things to do with putting money in the pocket.
Yeah.
Elijah, you'll be surprised how many women are trying to develop our economy more than even the men. Because let's believe it, our economy is mostly the middle income. That is where most people are concentrated. And if you look at it's mostly women that are involved in the middle income economy and the economic activities. If you go to the markets, women. Even if you go to our cities, most of the city markets are occupied by women.
Is there a time that we've had men in markets? I've grown up seeing women in market. I don't know in the market. Yeah, the men are there, yes, but to a smaller extent. You understand? Because it is literally, that is why I would say women are either in the kitchen or in the market.
They're either in the kitchen things. Or in the market.
Yeah.
But
we need to find these other things. What are the results of women empowerment? The programs that we keep talking about, and even in technology that we're advocating for right now.
One of the results of women empowerment is me. I know there are thousands of there are thousands of Patricias out there. If you went back, I don't know, if maybe even 5 or just let's 10 years back, you wouldn't find someone like on television, even
Mm.
those television shows.
Mm.
Me, I grew up watching TV, and I remember
like,
seeing
will I
so
be
many
here?
men, like
Mm.
men.
Mm.
But now, women, even if we are
You're
not the other
sitting on the
side,
table of men in the
yeah,
meantime.
we are here. We are here expressing
Mm.
ourselves. That is one of the things. If one person cannot express themselves, that is
Then
the worst thing ever.
mm.
But putting women to a place where they can comfortably come out and express themselves and say, you know what, I can do
a
this.
safe
You know
space.
what, this is what I'm doing.
Mhm.
This is what I can do. This is what I think. Just
Yeah.
a mere her coming out and saying, this is my opinion. That is an achievement for us as women.
Yeah.
But the things you don't want me to talk about, women in politics and women in public service,
Yeah.
those are the things you don't want me to talk about. But definitely, women are there and they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. So many women in the medical department, in the health department, in the education department, they
Of
are
course,
there.
medical, but I would maybe we shall have a debate about that next time, especially women in politics and how most of their decisions actually influenced by
That
you know
that's also
you
another
see
question.
making that kind of decision
Yeah.
an independent
Exactly.
decision.
They could be there, but what exactly are
Mm.
they doing there? That can be a different topic, but at least they have taken a
At least they are
step
there.
and they are there.
Mm.
You know, how they are going to do what they're supposed to do is another question. But
Yeah.
we think that can
Actually,
be worked on.
okay, let me ask. Sorry to rotate
No,
really
no, no,
about
it's
this
okay.
particular
It's
one,
the
but
it's okay.
I would like to know. You see, we've had questions of women in politics, and now they have a space. What are these things that we are seeing practically that they have been able to do? For example, ever since we had the vice president of Uganda, of course, who is a woman, what is that thing that we've had that Jessica Alupo is doing this particular thing? I mean, for women now you have a space, but what are you doing in the space?
I don't know if this has happened before in the history of television show,
Okay.
but I'm going to throw a question to you.
Mm.
Before you ask what
Okay.
Madam
Women,
Aluko has done, we have had
That
vice
is just a case
presidents. Yes,
study.
a case study.
Mm.
But can we also take a case study?
Mm.
We have also had vice presidents that are men. What exactly is that thing we can tag to that vice president that this is that what they did? Or a prime minister, for example, you know, we've had them. What is that specific thing we can tag to them? So I don't want you to, it's a rhetoric question.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, let us not say, okay, we are tagging this.
Patricia.
What has she done?
Mm.
You know, what has she done as a person? There are so many things that she's supposed to do as a vice president.
Yeah.
And those are the things we should look at. You know, let's not look at what is this that she did.
In camera.
Now, for example, like the MPs. The MPs, we don't see them like, okay, what is this that they're doing? They're not speaking up and talking in parliament. What is the duty of an MP? The women MPs are there. What exactly are they doing? Are they supporting the laws and the bills that are for women or that are pro women empowerment? Those are the kind of things that we want to say, oh, okay, women are in politics and this is what they are, this is what they are doing.
We need to put the women in politics on a spotlight,
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
to see,
yeah.
to assess their value in politics. But
Before
maybe getting back
that,
to
we shall have to assess the value of the men who have been in politics since before the time that we started talking about women empowerment. You know,
Okay.
this thing has just come up for women, but it seems like we are putting women on the spot. I don't know if it is from a positive place or it is from a negative place, but I think it is that attitude that, oh, women are now here. What are they doing? Women are doing a lot. Elijah and our viewers, I know we appreciate that women are doing a lot. If you look at all the histories of those bills in parliament, we have strong women behind them. I'm telling you. So we appreciate. It's not about shining a spotlight on them from a negative place, but we know that they are doing. Although they can do better. They can always do better.
all right,
Yeah.
maybe
Some
since you're new in the
examples.
system, we can be able to continue to empower you
And then
as women.
development
Mm.
cannot be achieved only through politics.
Exactly.
I've already given an example of Mulwana's daughter. I will give other three. There is a lady. She's rather like my daughter here. She's called Dr. Mushoke something in a private sector foundation. That lady is very powerful and has done a lot for the private sector. She's a lady. Then there is this Dr. Naruima on Entebbe Road. we competed together. I competed in this best farmers when it was started. We competed 1,920 competitors. I was the 20th in the whole of Uganda, but she was among the first 10.
Okay.
And she even went to Netherlands.
Are you noting?
That that lady has been so inspirational. When she graduated from the university, she said she worked for about 2 or 3 years and started employing herself. She has got about 10 enterprises in less than 10 acres along Entebbe Road there. Pigare, what, and every time there is this show by the New Vision, she's always there. She's always there teaching. Then there is this former minister of agriculture, Victoria Sectorico. She's really a power. So we cannot only look at politics, but others in the private sector
who are doing things
who are role models for our young girls.
Right. Thank you so much, Honorable Kanaginagi. Patricia, you are still giving us these things that you feel government is actually here. So I think the message will get straight. Yeah, we'll go straight.
There is what is called the Maputo Convention, which was signed in around 2003, particularly for agriculture and education. Those member countries did agree that within 5 years, they would be committing between 20 to 30% of their national budgets to agriculture and education. Unfortunately, we have not done that. Because as I've said, the local governments are a replica of the central government. I've been at the district for 24 years. At this level, the best we had, especially in production, is 5% against the perceived 10 to 15%. And even in education, yesterday was on a certain show on radio. I said, yes, UP came and shown